coming on the call tonight. And as you know, I am not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. I'm an expert investor. I've been investing in real estate, residential, and commercial for years. I have attorneys working for me full time. I have CPAs that work with me, and we actually do manage money. I am a hedge fund manager, and the fund is MIGSIF. You see the website down here, MIGSIF, Medawar International Group Secured Income Fund. The fund started in 2009. I am so excited about its growth, and we've been doing very, very well. We have a lot of investors that are actually from this seminar company, from the education company. I'm an educator, and the training is cmrei.com. That's the training company website, Cherif Medawar Real Estate Investing. We have over 1,000 hours of training and videos that have been filmed since 2009. A lot of new material. Constantly we add stuff, and we always archive our webinars so people get to learn and grow with us. So we have a program for asset protection. We have how to create your own fund, how to use my fund for fund of funds, how to flip residential, how to buy discount notes, and most importantly, how to do different types of commercial properties using a very specific formula. And I'm really excited about the call tonight, because what I want to cover with you is an opportunity to do your own deals. So give me one second. I think I clicked right on the website here by mistake. Let me go right back to the site. And I want to talk to you about the FACTS system. The FACTS system is, no matter the type of property you're going to use, people always want a business model. So I created this in 2003. And the FACTS, the acronym FACTS, mean how to find, analyze, control, time, and strategize to get a deal and make money. Everybody want to make money in real estate. Everybody want to make money and have enough to retire and to really feel financially secure. The only difference is some people go beyond their dream and beyond the fantasy and take action, and some just can't start. I'm going to help you start. I'm going to help you take action. I'm going to help you grow. And this particular call tonight is for those that have their own business and they're leasing somewhere in a mall, or they want to just branch out and have their own space. I'm going to talk to you about how to find a property where you are the tenant, then how to analyze the numbers and the local trend for that area, how to control and negotiate the deal and the offer and put it under contract, and how to time the process of you getting in as the tenant and making the money in that location by doing the right due diligence for the property, getting the right creative financing, and closing on the deal, and how to strategize to take the property to its highest and best use with your business and alternative ways for you to make a deal happen. You don't necessarily always have to buy it all cash or get a loan. I'll explore with you some other possibilities of lease and sublease, and I'll even show you ways you can work with me as the hedge fund manager, where I will finance you buying the property, help you get in, and then you can cash me out afterwards. Very unique opportunity, extremely powerful strategies that I have mastered through the years, and I'm bringing to you here tonight. So in this session tonight, getting a single tenant building to operate your own business. Very exciting. Everybody want to control their future. Let's talk about finding a property. I'll tell you about different types of properties and what you can do. You may find a vacant property where the previous tenant was in the same business that you are. You sell bagels, and here's a vacant property that used to have a bagel place. You're in the car mechanic business, you find a vacant property that used to be a car shop. You're in the coffee business, and there was a place that was occupied, I don't know, by Starbucks, and they left. This is a good one to catch, because the improvement will cost you the least amount of money when you have a property in good condition and was used by previous tenant that is in the same type of business that you want to operate. What a windfall of an opportunity. And you don't have to tell the seller that, because if you're buying it, you just pretend like, hey, listen, I still have to do a lot of improvement here. I have to make a lot of changes, so you can negotiate the best possible price. Now, another type that you'll find is a vacant property that's in bad condition. Well, use that to your advantage. You may be able to negotiate coming in with an option and then fixing the property and then buying it. Maybe you can negotiate that they will fix it. I mean, they can't rent it anyway unless they give free time to the new tenant coming in if they're going to lease it, or they're going to actually do what's called tenant improvement, where they're going to spend some money to improve the property for the tenant. So property in bad condition, that's not a bad idea. You can actually look at the numbers and negotiate with the seller. How about if the property is occupied by the same type of business you're going to operate, and there are a few years left on the lease? Not a bad idea. You may be able to even finance it easier and tell the bank that as soon as this tenant leaves, or as soon as this tenant lease expires, you're not going to renew that tenant. And you will be the landlord, you'll be the owner, and you're going to operate that business. Wonderful opportunity for you to piggyback on a big franchise name that has a lease coming up for expiration. A lot of owners of these properties get so scared when the lease comes near expiration, and they may sell the property when there is just a year left or so. Good opportunity for you to snatch the property at a good deal when it's still operating and it's in good condition. Another type you may find is an occupied property by the same business, but the lease is expiring. Okay, so that lease expiring a lot sooner. So they're telling you, yes, for sure this tenant is leaving. They have 2 more months left, etc. Guess what you can do? You come in and then you can negotiate with that tenant that has the lease expiring anyway. It's not like the one before that I explained where there's still maybe a year or two and then you don't know if they want to renew. These people said, we're leaving. You can maybe negotiate with that tenant on their way out that they can leave certain equipment, etc. And it could work out really nice for you, and just an awesome way to get into a building that has a lot of equipment. You will run into also properties that are what's called vacant property with tenant that went dark. A tenant that went dark is a tenant that says, I can't afford to operate here. I know I have a corporate guarantee. I have to make the payments. So guess what? I'll be paying every month. So the place is vacant, and the tenant may be paying $8,000 a month, or $10,000 or $15,000, and you know they have maybe 4 years left on the lease, and they're paying $8,300 a month. That's $100,000 a year. So they keep paying and paying and paying, and the property is sitting vacant. Nobody likes a dark property, meaning that it's sitting vacant and the tenant is paying. The owners sometimes just want to sell it. They don't care. They're not motivated to sell it right away because they're getting paid. They don't care if the tenant is operating it or not. But if they put it for sale and you can jump into something like this, guess where the opportunity is? You come in, you call that tenant that's paying when it's dark, and you tell them, hey, listen, you're paying for 4 more years. You got $400,000 of payments coming up, which is $100,000 each year. Just pay me $200,000 right now and buy the lease out, just like a discount note. This is a huge opportunity, practically untapped in the retail business. That $200,000 would give you back your down payment. It could be the way you can finance the down payment. It's the way you can finance the space for the design, etc. One of the best and greatest opportunities. Very, very powerful stuff. Number 6, a different type that you can find is a vacant property with a space that is too big for you. Now, a lot of these, like I had a student that wanted to operate a small shop, and what he found a Blockbuster Video old place that has been vacant for several years, and nobody wanted it because it was a huge space. And I showed him how to actually come in, just take 51% of the space, lease the other part to another tenant. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's pretty awesome. And then he can get an SBA loan because he is occupying more than half. So these are half a dozen ways to work with what's out there in the market today and create your own wealth by having a business and operate it in a building. What are you going to analyze? You're going to analyze property numbers. What is the price to acquire the property? Boom, you're going to write that down. It's going to cost me $600,000 to acquire this property. Boom, you write it down. What's the cost of improvement? You're the tenant, so what's the cost of TI, tenant improvement? What is going to cost you $100,000 to operate it, to get it all done and ready with the design and everything? Great. Then what is better? Is it better to buy it or to lease with an option to buy? You know, you can come into a property and buy it, or you can ask the seller, listen, can I lease it from you and pay so much and have an option to buy? Now, why would you do that? Because you can just take the money that you are going to use as down payment and put it as improvement for the place, marketing for your business, and now you're operating the business and the property. And when the business comes up and you have good momentum, you can go to the bank and say, look, I am actually able to make this place work. I own the business. I want to buy the building. Very good way for you to ease your way into the property. So you got to do that analysis. And when you are renting, when you are now the tenant, you want to sign maybe no more than 5 years with an option to renew for another 5 years, not 10 years. You see, if you're the tenant, you want to be able to not obligate yourself to long term. So if the place doesn't work for you, you can walk away, right? You will pay triple net. That means you will pay the tax, insurance, and maintenance, but that's fine. If they ask you to offer a guarantee, can you offer a personal guarantee? Sure, you can if you're going to buy it anyway. But you can, you know that you can actually call an insurance company and they can give what's called a surety bond. They can actually check your background, check your credit, and issue a bond to the seller. It's like a corporate guarantee, very powerful for you to control the property and can come in as a tenant. You also, I would suggest for you, if you're a tenant and you're writing the lease with an option to buy, is to have a kick-out clause or a termination clause, meaning you don't just obligate yourself for the 5 years. You say, you know what, if I leave, I'll pay 6 months penalty. Or if I leave, I will be paying X in damages. Or you know what, if I don't sell at least $1 million in that location, that's a kick-out clause. I'll just leave with a 90-day notice. These are ways for you to write the lease in a way that you are in control. Most big corporations, most big companies don't do that. You can do it. And yes, there will be escalations. You'll pay every year a little bit more. But that is a way for you to analyze the numbers. How much to acquire it? How much is it going to cost me to improve it? What kind of lease I should write? If I'm going to lease it with an option to buy, what price should I lock in the property at? How can I negotiate the lowest possible lease so I can stay in control of the property? Extremely powerful, and I'll talk more about that when it comes to strategizing. What else are you going to analyze? The local trend. Do you want to see, are there similar businesses in the area that are operating? So you want to put a check cashing business. Are there other check cashing businesses? What's the competition like? That's very important. You got to drive around. You got to know it. You're the tenant now. You're going to own the building. You want to know. You want to know what's the average income in the area. You can pull that from Google. You can put a zip code. You can pull it from many websites that do real estate stuff. And usually on Google, you can find average income in a specific zip code, specific neighborhood. You want to drive around, look at the neighboring tenants. Are the neighboring tenants going to help my business? Are there more? Let's say you're going to put a Subway and you're going to get a franchise for Subway and operate. Are there other food places that you're going to piggyback on? There will be more traffic coming in. Beautiful. You got to see that. Is the area growing? Are there more employment? Is there more employment? Are there other big shoppers, big shopping malls coming in? So a lot of traffic coming. All that, you got to analyze that trend. You got to spend a few hours in the area, take a look, talk to people. If you're going to be a tenant now, you're not only looking at the real estate as real estate only, you're going to operate your business there. So it's very important to put both hats on, the real estate investor's hat and the entrepreneurial business mind. Now, how do you control the property? You can buy it directly. You're going to put a down payment and get a loan from the bank and then keep some money for the improvements. That's pretty simple, straightforward. And if you don't have the money, I'll tell you how we can partner up. The fund is willing to work with you on these. You can get an SBA loan. By the way, those people that join me for joint ventures and working with me on these programs, on these particular type of properties, single tenants, I'm going to do a call on Monday, not this coming Monday, but the following Monday with an expert for small business administration loans. I'm going to dissect this for you. I'm going to show you how it works, and it's huge. So we're going to spend a lot of time on this. But you can get a small business administration loan. You can walk into a bank and ask for that division, and you'll talk to a loan officer. They'll have you fill out some information. You'll understand the requirements and see how it works for you. Or what I like most is to control the property, is get it leased and get an option to buy. It helps you ease your way into the property. Now, if you're going to do that, I caution you, you got to have two separate contracts, two separate agreements. One is a rental agreement with a rental deposit, and one which is an option to buy, and it could be a simple one page with what's called option consideration. That means rental, here is 1 month rent, here's what the rental is going to be. Option to purchase, here is a small amount option consideration to purchase at X amount of money within so many years, provided I pay the rent on time, and so much of the rental income is going to go toward the principal, which is portion of monthly lease goes to the principal amount. How much you're going to owe? You're going to buy the property for $600,000. You're going to be making rent payment for $4,000 a month. Maybe you want $1,500 to go toward the purchase price. Why? A couple of years down the road, you already put the down payment, and it's all coming from the business cash flow. Very powerful. You want to get, if you're going to lease, one of the biggest leverages you have is you want to get the tenant, you're going to want to get the landlord, the owner of the property, to pay for all or some of the tenant improvement. TI is tenant improvement. So how do you like that? You have the way to get into the property. They give you a couple months free rent, or maybe 3 months free rent, or maybe they pay for some money to fix up the property nice, put a new AC or something like this, and then you have an option to buy it. And you can do the option like an afterthought, like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be in, I'm going to invest in this. Give me an option to buy it from you. And the seller will be like, but why? Well, you don't have to pay commission to anybody. I'll be in already. I'll make it easy for you. We can close within 3 years if I. And then now you have controlled the property, and you have a great way to grow your business and your real estate empire. Now, the whole idea is to time the process. Let's talk about timing the process a little bit. What are you trying to time? You're trying to time the due diligence and on the property inspection. So you want to inspect the property. How's the floor? How's the AC units? How's all that good stuff? And you want to get bids for rehab and design. So you want to get different contractors to tell you, yes, I can change the floor. Yes, I can put these cabinets. Yes, I can do the design this way and that. And you want to get these people to give you the bids so you know how much the thing is going to cost you. And you want to see if the seller will carry the financing. So the timing is the due diligence of property inspections and the financing. You can ask the seller, if I invest so much in the property, will you carry the financing? If I give you so much down payment, will you carry the financing? Because once you operate for 2 years, any bank is going to see you're operating and paying so much in lease. It's going to be very interesting in financing you. So a seller that may be hurting with cash flow may actually look at you as something totally different. Okay, I can't rent it, but I can sell it and I'll carry the financing. Why not? Now, always try to find out, will the seller take an option to buy with some upfront money? So you say, look, here is some upfront money to purchase the property. Give me access to the property to fix it so I can start my business, and then you can cash him or her out once you get a loan. So I have done a strategy like this. Let me explain to you. There was a property, it was a large building, and these people were in a financial trouble because they had a lawsuit with what they did is they wrote a contract with a seller who died 48 hours later. So his son sued these buyers and said that his father was not coherent enough. He was very old, and they wrote a steal of a deal with him at $3 million when the property was worth a lot more. They said the property was worth over $5 million. That's the son of the seller. So these guys got into this big lawsuit, and it got so ugly, the judge finally ordered 3 appraisals and then told them to liquidate. They had almost $500,000 in legal fees, fighting back and forth for over a year. It was just crazy, with attorneys charging $400 or $500 an hour. Conclusion, they came to me and they said, Sharif, we're in trouble here. We need out. Can you cash us out? I said, okay, here is the deal. I'll pay you so much money up front so you can actually finish the deal with this seller, the son that is suing you, and we can settle with him. But that money I'm giving you up front is for you to settle the lawsuit and purchase the property as intended, but you're going to now give me an option to buy it from you. They said, okay, fine, give us the money. So I gave them some upfront money to settle everything. I got an option to buy the property, but I also got something extremely powerful, which is the approval to access the property, fix it up, totally rehab it, segregate it, created separate condos upstairs for offices and downstairs separate retail, and totally transformed the property. I added liability insurance at my expense. And what happened is I used my money, not all my money as down payment, just enough to control the deal and have them settle with the other guy. And I used the bulk of my money to rehab the property. When I was ready to exercise my option and we went to the bank, the property appraised for $8.3 million. I had locked it in at 4. So they had a profit of $1 million minus their legal fees, problems, and whatever. They walked away with a nice chunk of cash, maybe $500,000. But I walked away with $3 million of instant equity, and I hadn't spent that much money. It was practically all on credit lines, and I charged a lot of stuff with Home Depot, changing things, legal fees, etc. is what I had to pay up front. The property was a home run, just because I explained to the sellers what's in it for them. I told them, you give me access, I'll fix the property. I remember in the negotiation table, one of the sellers said to me, what if you fix it and we're giving you 18 months option to buy, and then at the end you don't buy? I said, then you got the property, I didn't exercise my option, and it's completely fixed up. How do you like that? He said, oh my God, I hope you don't buy. I mean, these guys were just difficult to deal with, but once they got it, that I'll fix the property, they don't have to pay commissions to anybody. They solve their problem. Everybody wins. Putting a deal together has to do with a lot of focus on what's in it for the other side and present to them what works for them, but tell them this is what I want. I give you this, you give me that. And you put it all together. By the way, guys, we have an archived call about how to negotiate with sellers, how to negotiate with brokers, but this is just a little bit more food for thought with specific deals that I have done. The property continues to be in my ownership. This property now, I've been actually working on it to change it into a hotel, and now it's just a total home run. It's called Monastery Art Hotel. You can even go online, look at monasteryarthotel.com. You will see the property. It's got beautiful 9 suites, 2 huge retail spaces downstairs. We're working on the roof as we speak. And those that do the training with me in Puerto Rico, you will tour it, you'll see it. Actually, you stay there. You stay in that property. Anyway, very exciting. This is a strategy I've used by timing the process of the acquisition. Number 4, one of the other things you're going to talk about is financing. Consider getting a partner to buy the building and then give you an option to buy it back from him at a profit. So let's say you want to buy the building. You don't have all the money. I am your guy. If you're doing a joint venture with me, my hedge fund, you show me that you have a business that has been up and running for 2 years, you're successful, you know what you're doing, I'm willing to get into the property, you sign the lease, you have the obligation to perform, and then you can buy it back from me at a profit that we do as a built-in profit. This is for owners of properties, owners of businesses that want to get into properties. Let me repeat. If you own a business and you want to get into a single tenant building, you go identify the building, you find it, you come and join me in my joint venture program. I'll show you the training. I'll show you what I look for, how I do it. Now I can work with you as a business owner. I can actually, if you have that property locked in and you want to make it happen, the fund will consider buying it. You will lease. You will sign with an obligation and a personal guarantee, and you will come in and you will perform. And within a period of time, we're going to have a buyout, and you can actually buy it back from the fund at a fixed profit for the fund. So you're a winner. We're a winner. Everybody goes beyond the fantasy of, I'd like to make a real estate deal, but I'm stuck. I don't have the money. Guess what? I got the money. Think with my money, not with your money. All right, good. Number 5, consider getting a partner for your business that would buy the property with you. I mean, now you're adding more value to your business because your business is going to be housed in a building that you will own. You can't afford to do both, start the business and own the building. Look for partners that like the real estate and tell them, let's come in and partner up. There will be partners that will look at your business and like it and will just join you, so you got part ownership of the real estate and you give up part of the ownership of the business. This is an extremely powerful way. The only thing that limits you in business and in life is your knowledge, your creativity, and your ability to communicate. Knowledge, creativity, and ability to communicate increase. The 3 of them increase exponentially when you get training and you get exposed to what people do. I have done this in the millions and millions of dollars between my hedge fund, between my personal portfolio of old San Juan, Puerto Rico commercial properties. I have over $100 million under management, and I can grow to $1 billion, but I like to have control. I like to stay in tune, and I like to involve the students. Now, let's strategize. Now that we found the property, analyzed it, controlled it, and we timed the process, when we have all these opportunities, let's strategize. I'm going to give you 8 ways to strategize to make the big money. You can buy and improve the property to operate the business. That's a great way to actually just add value to the property, add value to your business. You can lease the property and get an option to buy. Okay, so get the property under lease, have the owner of the property that's selling it to you, do some tenant improvement, get an option to buy it, so you lock in a price. Your business is going to grow, so you can afford to pay a higher lease, and now you can go to the bank and say, I can afford this property, here are my numbers. The bank gets excited, they know you're an owner, use it, they can finance you. You can actually lease a property at, let's say, $8,000, sublease it at, let's say, another tenant for $12,000 a month, and have an option to buy it. Now, why would you do that? Because maybe you're not ready to expand yet, but you want to lock in the property, and it can make you positive cash flow while you're holding on to the property, and you have lease income from the sublease difference. So if your lease payment is 8,000 and the sublease, so you sublease it to a bigger tenant at 12, 12 comes to you, 8 comes out, you got 4,000 positive cash flow. You keep that 4,000 aside, so within a period of time, you can exercise your option to buy by putting all that money that you've saved toward the down payment. And if the seller is leasing it to you for 8, it's going to appraise a lot lower than you receiving 12 from the sublease. It will appraise higher for you, and that difference will help you get an easy financing with very good terms with the bank. And then once that subtenant leaves, you can actually just occupy the space yourself. Lease and sublease is a great way to make money, whether an investor or a business owner that want to ease his or her way into the property. Now, I always like to, for business owners to explore the small business administration loan, because you can get the property with an SBA loan, then pay yourself a high rent. Because if you pay yourself a high rent, the highest possible based on comparable rents, you go to the highest possible comparable rent. And what ends up happening is you can go to the bank after paying yourself for so many months, and you can tell the bank, look, I've been paying myself for 2 years here so much. My corporation, which is the business, is paying my LLC, which is the owner of the building, so much per month. I'd like to refinance and cash out my original down payment. What a beautiful way to do this. SBA loans usually 10% down. You get into a property, you operate your business, pay yourself a high payment right there. You don't have to worry about taxes. You're expensing a lot from the business. The income comes in, it's offset by the depreciation of the property, etc. And what it does, this high rent increases the value of the property, so you can always go back to the bank and show them history of paying on time, paying so much, and then guess what? You then refinance, cash out your down payment. What are you going to do now that you cashed out the down payment and your business has been in the place for a couple of years? Go find another location, put that money again, another down payment, do the same thing, grow your business location, expand the business, expand your real estate empire, and eventually you'll have several locations and all your money's cashed out, and you have what I call infinite rates of return. Listen to this, number 5, as a strategy. You can buy the property, operate the business for a few years, then sell the business and keep the building. Unless you like to work hard every day and go make sandwiches or go fix cars or go do whatever you do in these small businesses, it's crazy to keep operating these businesses when you have the building now. Now you have a life. Sell the business to somebody else that's starting and trying to work their way through life, and keep the building. After all, you're writing the lease. You wrote the lease with yourself, and then you sell it. They have to inherit that lease. And guess what? You can now give them a longer term. You can sell the business to another entrepreneur that has good financial backing and have maybe a bond, insurance bond, for them to have some security in terms of the income. And now you keep the building, and the business has added so much value to you. You got your money back out. Now, number 6, how about buy the building, operate the business, and if you do not make money, then just get out of the business and lease the property to a good tenant. I mean, if you're in the business already, I have this guy with a laundromat place, and they did very well, they expanded, then they sold the 3 businesses and kept the 3 buildings. And I told him, what if you would have done badly? He said, well, we did have a 4th location. We did very badly in it. But you know what we did, Sharif? I said, what? He said, we just sold the equipment and we just leased it to a better tenant, and it's a corporate tenant that came in. I said, this is wonderful. So you have a plan B. It's natural in these buildings. You can also consider this one. Buy the property, operate the business, then sell them both as a package. Well, if you got a home run deal, you can sell them both. And guess what? You can sell the business to be almost a break even if you're selling them as a package, and make all the profit on the real estate, because in real estate you can do a 1031 exchange whereby you don't pay the taxes, roll the money forward into another property. In 1031 exchange, they tell you instead of selling and paying taxes now, you can defer your taxes to a later date, whereby when you sell, You have 45 days to identify up to 3 properties. You have an additional 135 days to roll over that money, the profits, into a new building. Roll it over into a triple net building where the tenant pays you tax, insurance, and maintenance, get the income, get the steady, reliable profit, and enjoy life. There's more to life than just pursuing money. And once you get in the right way, you can grow exponentially. Number 8 strategy: how about buying the building, operate the business, then sell the actual building and then lease it back for your business? This is huge. Let me just explain to you. So let's say you got a building and it should rent for maybe $6,000 a month, and you can buy it for $600,000. That's the best you can do because it's a great location, it's an awesome thing. So you come into the property and let's say you negotiate the deal for $500,000. That's all you could do. You paid $500,000, you got a loan, you got your business up and running, and now your business is doing so well, you're able to pay yourself, let's say you're able to pay $8,300 a month. So with the $8,300 a month, you put the property for sale at $1 million, and you say sale, lease back. So somebody like me, hedge fund, can come in and say, okay, here is $1 million. You're going to lease it back? Yes, we're going to continue a lease for 15 years, paying $8,300, and you're able to pay it. Now, what happens? You just cashed out $1 million. You originally paid 500. You now added 500,000 in value because you're the one operating there. Now you take that $1 million, and now you can go buy another location for 500,000 all cash, and operate a new business, and then either sell and lease back or do it in reverse. It is endless. I can go all night with this. I get so excited, I even scare myself. Anyway, you got the idea. It is endless. I mean, I was just talking with my team earlier tonight, and we were talking to somebody that wanted to buy a residential property, fix it up, and then turn around and resell it. This guy is going to put about $80,000 to $100,000 between the purchase of this small property and the rehab. He's going to work till the cows come home, all right? And it's going to be about 3-4 months project. And at the end, he thinks he's going to make $50,000, say minus commission, about maybe $40,000 net. Take the taxes now because it's a flip, so it's like 35%, federal and 10% state, etc. By the time, and then put a little cushion for the risk. My gosh, I mean, say he's gonna net 30K. I mean, he had to put money, he had to take the time, he had to fix, he had to have the knowledge, he has to romance all these people to make things happen for him. Compare that to working with me, where I can show you ways to find a single tenant commercial retail property vacant. You put it under contract using my proof of fund that I will give you for $3.3 million. You call on tenants that are ready to expand, whether big businesses or national tenants or international tenants, these big tenants that I give you 4,000 of them on the website plus, and you line up one tenant with a letter of intent. And that instant increase in value of the property, because you locked it in vacant and you got a tenant that actually is going to pay and increase the value of the property. That value increase is maybe $300,000-$400,000 increase in value on the property that you locked in under contract. You can assign that contract to me. I'm the hedge fund that buys it. I'll pay you 10 to 25% of the value increase. I mean, usually lock in a property at $600,000 sitting vacant, line up a tenant that's going to pay $8,300 a month. It's going to make the property worth $1 million because that's $100,000 a year in income. So you have it under contract at $600,000, and you got a letter of intent from a tenant that's going to pay $100,000 a year. So the property now is worth $1 million. That's $400,000 increase in value. I'll pay you $40,000 to $100,000 to assign it to me. You don't have to put your money. You don't have to take any risk, because if the deal doesn't go through, you can walk away. You have due diligence period of 30 to 45 days. Your earnest money deposit, $5,000, whatever it is, you get it back. You don't have to put a lot of time, effort in this. You can do it sitting in a suit at home. Just get to know your own neighborhood in your own backyard. So you can do it as a business owner. You can do it as an investor. You can do it as an entrepreneur. In this conversation here, I'm talking to business owners. Your end goal is to operate your business in your own property, pay yourself, and grow exponentially. You have choices, and you can control your future. Work with my fund if you have a successful business and are looking for a landlord who will sell back to you in the future at a predetermined price. So leverage your real estate business with a single tenant building and work with me to grow faster. If you have a successful single tenant, if you have a successful business and you're in a mall, think about expanding in a single tenant building. If you become part of my joint venture program and you have a track record of success, we can work it out. We can make it happen. So those that are interested to work with me, finding these properties in your own backyard, placing tenants, or if you're the tenant that want to come in, let me tell you, let's go beyond the fantasy, because the most difficult part of doing any real estate deal is having the money. And I got the money, got plenty of it. What's difficult for me is to know all what's happening nationwide. I mean, right now I'm in New York. I have meetings in New York. I don't know what's happening in San Diego. I don't know what's going on in Dallas. I don't know what's happening in Orlando. But if somebody gets the right deal, line up the right tenant, I'll pay for it, because that makes sense for me, because the tenant is going to come in and sign for many years. Call now to reserve your spot. I'm going to do live trainings with the students, a day and a half intensive. I'm going to give you support online. Your enrollment is $1,995. Here is the phone number: 407-608-5448. 407 area code 608-5448. All right. Now, online commercial real estate turnkey course will be provided to you. We did an intensive training online. We have video of the training with actual negotiation with the tenant representatives. You will see how I negotiate with them. You will see what can go right, what can go wrong, how to negotiate that stuff. I want you to know it from inside out. As a landlord, owner of a property, I want you to know it as a tenant coming in, and you'll have that perspective. I'll give you 4,000 national tenant list, who to contact, what neighboring tenants they like, what size space they like. It's all done for you, handed to you. What you got to do, learn what to tell them on the phone. I'll give you the business model, what to send them. I'll give you the documents that you'll send them. I'll give you a business model, 7 documents. You will know this for life. You can use it in the US, you can use it in Canada. We've trained people from Toronto, and this thing can be applied anywhere in the world. Okay, now, Sharif's proof of letter fund. This is my fund's proof of fund letter. It shows 3.3 million is sitting in a certificate of deposit waiting to be deployed in any deal that makes sense. That means you can go make offers on properties from 300,000 all the way to $10 million, and people will take you seriously. I want you to join venture with me on single tenant retail commercial real estate. I'm not interested in hotels, motels, apartment buildings. All that other stuff is great stuff. I'm not putting it down, but it's not what's going to make us instant profit. I like these single tenant retail because I put a tenant in and I'm done for 10, 15 years. I don't have to manage it. I don't have to worry about it. It's triple net. Triple net meaning tenant pays tax, insurance, and maintenance. I'll give you weekly webinar training. Every Monday, I do a training. I come in, I take your questions. Everybody learns from everyone. It's very exciting. There is so much to cover. By the way, this coming Monday, we're going to do a phenomenal call with Paul. Paul is an expert consultant. He worked with tenants. He took tenants and put them in the Caribbean, took a company from 18 carts in malls to 134 locations worldwide, mostly in the Caribbean. He is working with Crocs. He consults with some of the biggest companies in the world. I'm going to have him on a call Monday evening, and we're going to chat, and you're going to hear the perspective of the tenant. So when you find a building, you know exactly what the tenants want to say. You want to know exactly what the tenants want to talk about. You can ask Paul the questions directly. I want you to master this. By the way, the following week, which is not this Monday, but the following Monday, I'm going to have the SBA experts on the call, and you're going to hear how you can convince business owners to expand. You can even create your own wealth by finding the property, finding the tenant, putting the deals together, and you got me for the money. 1.5 days intensive. You can come to my home in Cancun. I own part of a hotel there. You come in. We can actually do the training right there in the hotel. You walk out, go to the beach, one of the best beaches in the world. You will see how I live, how the money works for me. I don't work for the money. I've passed that stage. I want you to benefit from my knowledge, expertise, piggyback on this. And I know some of you will email us tonight and say, can I just join your fund? How much should just join your fund since you have all that stuff going on? $25,000, you can get into the fund. You can get paid steady income. You can be in the fund for you. You can compound your money. We pay investors 6 to 8%. It depends how much you put in. You can withdraw your money within a year. But guys, I want you to make the big money. I want you to go find the deals. Go line up the tenants. That's what I teach you. You can come to San Juan, Puerto Rico, Old San Juan. I got the properties. We'll do the training in my office there. We'll do it in my home. We'll walk you through the buildings. You will see 15 of my commercial properties. You will see the hotel I'm talking about. You will stay there. You will see the buildings. You'll see how I brought in Tommy Hilfiger's Guest jeans. You know, I did a lease and sublease. You will see the entire thing and how it works, and you will be able to see it, feel it, know it, and master it. I give you the support online. You have online training that's ongoing. You have the documents online. Everything is up to date. We just even updated some more stuff online for you. We put a section for frequently asked questions from the Monday calls that started coming. I do one-on-one with you to make sure that you get this done. And you can do it with me on the calls every Monday, and you will see, you will become an expert. I've had commercial real estate brokers telling me, I've never heard of these strategies in retail. They are better, they are easier, they can be done anywhere, and you're backing up with funds, Sharif. You're going beyond the fantasy of I want to make a deal. Again, to recap here, it's a turnkey system, guys. I'll show you how to do it. 4,000 national tenants, national tenant package, the entire thing that you hand any tenant, the real estate contracts right there, proof of fund letter, you see it here, right here on the side, you read it. We certify that Original Resources Inc. have a CD number XYZ, okay, with our bank institution, the amount of 3.3 million US dollars. Original Resources Inc. is an outstanding client of the bank and is the owner of Mixif Hedge Fund. Yeah, of course I'm an outstanding client of the fund. I got $40 million equity that's cross-collateral on small $10 million loan. They love me. If you need more information, don't hesitate to contact my office at or the president of Original Resources Inc., Mr. Sharif Medawar, directly. Guys, it doesn't get any more real than this. You want people to take you seriously? You want a checklist to make it happen? You want the backup of a hedge fund manager with experience? This is the deal. Here I am walking down on Cristo Street with a little church, historic church behind me there. I'm pointing at the building. This building is a historic building. I'm explaining to them, this is my building right here, is 250 Cristo. Beautiful location, phenomenal, outstanding opportunities. And once you know how it's done, I'm explaining exactly this stuff step by step, and I walk people through it. The picture on the right side, this is the people. These are the people. Wonderful 3 individuals came in from Dallas, and we did the one-on-one training, day and a half, from early morning on a Tuesday, 9 a.m. We finish at 3 on day 1. It's intensive. They can walk around. They can chat. They can prepare their question. Next day, we go half a day. Make sure you've got it. You ask the question. You're comfortable with it, and you can go out there and make it happen. I want to know you, and I want you to know what I do. Consultation dates, those that are trying to do this, I want you to call tonight. I got people available to take your call right now, 407-608-5448. Here it is. May 20th, 21st in Puerto Rico, there's only 1 open seat left. And I really mean it. Like somebody want to come with his spouse? Sorry, 1 open seat. He or she will have to sit on your lap. Just kidding with you. Okay, May 20th and 21st, I'm really sold out. Practically, I got enough people there. If you want to squeeze in 1 more person, you can call in right now, talk to Zach, talk to Ashley, we'll get you in. But I prefer you come in on June 5th and 6th. And it's in Puerto Rico, Old San Juan again. We're going to actually do the training there together, walk you through it. You get to see all this. I'll even take you to another level and expose you to, how to just negotiate and get it done step by step, and all the other advantages that can come with it. June 17th, 18th, if you prefer to come to Cancun, yes, I'll be in Cancun. We can meet on the 17th all day, the 18th half a day, and you will master this, and you go out there with my proof of fund and with my money, with my knowledge, and you'll go and repeat the process. Tell them what I tell you to tell them. Follow the step by step. Send them what I tell you to send them, and watch the money come to you. This is the power. I have it all online. We archive all the calls, and every Monday it gets more exciting. I also do Wednesday calls. So Wednesday calls are more to tell people about the world out there and what we're doing. So you're going to stay tuned, and it's archived. If you miss it, you'll go back, listen to it. I don't want you to like lose sleep over it. It's like, oh my gosh, I missed the call. He had this interview. He was explaining this detail. I'll have it all archived for you. I'm reachable. I'm accessible. I love doing this stuff. So what are my investing criteria? It's very simple to work with me. Single tenant properties, put them under contract. I'm giving you the proof of fund. There is no risk. You can walk away. So just do what I tell you to do. Number two, call the national tenants. I'm giving you the list and get a letter of intent. I'll even train you on the letter of intent in the one-on-one training. Terms, I need them to sign 10 to 15 years. Most of them will like that anyway because they lock in a lower price with an increase of 3%. So that's not a big resistance there. I want them triple net with a corporate guarantee, meaning the tenant will pay tax, insurance, and maintenance. This is very common for these tenants. And I want the corporate guarantee. Large companies give corporate guarantee. That gives me peace of mind. That gives you added value. You'll make a lot more on that assignment with me. Okay? The actual price difference, the increase in price difference between the contracted purchase price and the new price, I will pay you on that difference. Okay? And you can make from 10% on that difference to 25%. I always give the example of the 600,000 property you locked in vacant, 1 million value because you have a letter of intent. On that 400,000 minimum, you'll make 40,000. Easy, you could make 100,000 if you follow what I tell you. And by the way, my fund is paying you 100, buying the property at 600, at 700, property is worth $1 million. My fund investors are elated. They're so happy. Everybody wins in this. The community wins, the tenants win, employees in the area get employed, people get to shop. There is no downside. $1,995 while it lasts. 407-608-5448. You know what you're getting. I went through it already with you. I look forward to seeing you very soon. Here is a picture of the one we did actually about 2 weeks ago in Old San Juan. And this is a picture behind us there. You can see behind us is the oldest governor's house in the New World. It's been a tradition that every time we go to Old San Juan, we take a picture in that little street here. It's called Fortaleza. I own the actual street, completely the property on the behind us there, the pink one. I have it leased under lease, sublease with an option to buy. I will show you how it works. Look at their big smiles. Everybody smiling here. His toy and his wife. He's a minister. I got investor broker. I got investors in real estate. I got a scientist. I got people from all walks of life, Canadians. I got people, you know, Tiffany right here was in residential and now she's growing into commercial. Very exciting to see these people and to grow with me and to grow with them. Invest in single tenant retail properties. I am the hedge fund manager. I'm Sharif Medawar. I'll give you the support online, support in person, answer your questions. Don't delay. Get in now. 407-608-5448. If you prefer to email us, info@cmrei.com. Call now. info@cmrei.com for the email, but call us. It's much better to talk to you on the phone and in person. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in person very soon. God bless.